The night presses in like a living thing on a lonely stretch of Interstate 80 cutting through the high plains of Wyoming. It is 11:30 in the evening. The temperature has dropped to 10 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, and your car has just betrayed you. The alternator gives out without warning. Headlights flicker once, twice, then die. The engine coughs, sputters, and falls silent. You guide the vehicle onto the narrow shoulder. Gravel crunching under the tires like brittle bones. Your phone shows 4% battery life and the words "no service" glowing faintly in the dark. Outside, the wind howls across the empty land, carrying snow that stings like needles against the windows. In this moment, your car is no longer simply transportation. It becomes either your lifeboat or your tomb. You feel the cold already seeping through the floorboards, wrapping around your ankles like invisible hands. Your breath clouds the air inside the cabin. Panic tries to rise in your chest, but you push it down because you remember the preparation that turns fear into focus. Most drivers treat their trunk like a forgotten storage space filled with old shopping bags and random tools. Yet those who understand survival treat it as a carefully assembled system. One that respects the laws of heat transfer, the chemistry of batteries, and the quiet resilience of the human body. This knowledge does not come from guesswork. It comes from years of real-world testing, from the quiet work of engineers and researchers who have studied how the body loses heat and how a stranded motorist can fight back. If you find yourself in that exact situation right now, here is what you do in the first critical minutes. Check for the unmistakable click 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 when you turn the key. That sound tells you the battery has surface charge but lacks the cold cranking power to spin the starter motor. Feel the air inside the car. If you can see your breath clearly, you have roughly 30 to 60 minutes before mild hypothermia begins clouding your judgment, slowing your reactions, and making small decisions feel impossibly heavy. Scan the mirrors. If another vehicle pulls up immediately after you stop and the driver offers a suspiciously cheap tow or asks for cash up front to fetch gasoline, treat it as a warning. In the United States, legitimate help almost always arrives through official dispatch channels from your insurance or roadside service. Do not open your door until you verify their credentials. Should you carry jumper cables and another car arrives safely to assist, follow this exact sequence to prevent any risk of explosion from hydrogen gas escaping the battery. Attach the red clamp to the positive terminal of your dead battery. Then attach the other red clamp to the positive terminal of the working donor battery. Next, connect the black clamp to the negative terminal of the donor battery. Finally, attach the remaining black clamp to an unpainted metal bolt or bracket on the engine block of your own car, well away from the battery itself. This grounds the circuit safely and keeps any sparks far from explosive gases. Start the donor vehicle. Let it run for 5 full minutes to build charge. Then attempt to start your engine. Once running, keep both cars idling together for another few minutes before disconnecting in reverse order. With the immediate threat of total darkness and immobility handled, turn your attention to warmth because in a breakdown heat becomes your most precious currency. When the engine stops, it stops producing warmth. Your body then begins burning its own stored energy just to maintain core temperature. Layer your defense thoughtfully. Begin with a mylar emergency blanket developed originally by NASA engineers to protect spacecraft and astronauts from the brutal temperature swings of space. These thin metallic sheets reflect up to 97% of your body's radiant heat back toward you. They are windproof and waterproof, yet they trap moisture against your skin if wrapped directly. Instead, place the mylar as the outermost layer over other insulation so your sweat can escape and evaporative cooling does not steal even more heat. Beneath that, use a wool blanket. Wool fibers possess a natural crimp that creates millions of microscopic air pockets, trapping warmth even when the material gets damp. Wool can absorb up to 30% of its own weight in moisture without feeling wet or losing its insulating power. This property has saved lives in countless storms and shipwrecks throughout history. For those who drive regularly through the snowbelt states, add a high-quality synthetic sleeping bag rated to 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. These materials resist moisture better than down and compress small enough to store neatly in the trunk. Do not overlook the floor. The metal frame of your car acts as a massive heat sink, pulling warmth downward into the frozen ground. Place your floor mats upside down beneath your feet and legs to break that thermal bridge. The difference feels immediate, like stepping onto a layer of protection that keeps the cold from climbing your body. Slide your seat back if possible and elevate your feet slightly. Every small adjustment buys you precious minutes of clear thinking. Your body also needs fuel to keep its internal furnace burning steadily. Avoid the temptation of simple sugar snacks that many people pack out of habit. Candy bars deliver a quick spike of energy followed by a crash that impairs your ability to regulate temperature. Instead, rely on what survival experts call the survival trinity of foods. Choose complex carbohydrates such as oatmeal bars or whole grain crackers. These release glucose slowly, providing a steady burn that sustains you for hours. Include healthy fats like peanut butter packets, walnuts, or almonds. Each gram of fat supplies 9 calories, nearly double the energy of carbohydrates or protein, and helps your body hold warmth longer. Add proteins such as beef jerky or sealed packets of tuna. Digesting protein creates a noticeable thermic effect, literally generating extra heat inside you as your body works to break it down. Hydration matters even more in cold air than you might expect. You lose significant water through every exhale because the dry winter atmosphere pulls moisture from your lungs. Thirst is a late signal. By the time you feel thirsty, your blood has already thickened, slowing circulation and making your hands and feet freeze faster. Store water in sturdy BPA-free plastic bottles, leaving about 2 inches of empty space at the top so the liquid can expand if it begins to freeze without shattering the container. Sip small amounts regularly rather than waiting until dehydration sets in. While you manage the immediate crisis, remember the larger picture of prevention. Lead-acid batteries lose substantial power in cold weather. At 32 degrees Fahrenheit, they can drop around 20 to 35% of their strength. By 0 degrees Fahrenheit, the loss climbs toward 60%. At the same time, engine oil thickens like molasses, demanding even more power from an already weakened battery. Portable lithium jump starters from respected brands such as NOCO and Hulkman have become popular tools across the country. These compact units, often no larger than a hardcover book, can deliver 2,000 amps or more without needing a second vehicle. Yet even lithium technology dislikes extreme cold. Store the pack indoors when not driving and bring it with you only when you head out. That single habit can mean the difference between helplessness and self-reliance. Beyond the mechanical, protect your mind. Stranded drivers become vulnerable, and unfortunately some individuals exploit that vulnerability. Reports from cities across the United States document a rise in roadside assistance scams where unlicensed tow trucks monitor emergency channels, arrive first, and then demand exorbitant cash payments or hold vehicles hostage with inflated storage fees. Always ask for official identification and a dispatch number that matches your insurance application. Legitimate operators carry work orders and accept payment through proper channels. If someone insists on cash only, contact emergency services immediately. The psychological trap known as normalcy bias also endangers people. You think, I am only driving a few miles to the store. Nothing could go wrong. Yet national traffic data show that a significant majority of accidents, often cited around 75% or more, occur within 25 miles of home. In a sudden blizzard, those few miles can feel like crossing an ocean. Preparation breaks that bias. It replaces dread with quiet confidence. Assemble your trunk kit inside a single transparent, waterproof bin so you can see everything at a glance even in low light. Include 2 wool blankets and at least 4 mylar emergency blankets for layering. Add a package of chemical hand warmers that activate with air and provide hours of gentle heat. Pack a warm knit hat and extra pairs of wool socks because the head and feet lose heat rapidly. For energy, store 2 pounds of mixed nuts or trail mix, 6 high-calorie protein bars, and 4 liters of water in properly spaced bottles. Keep a small metal cup for melting snow safely if needed. In the mechanical section, place heavy-gauge jumper cables, your portable lithium jump starter, and a life hammer tool that can break a window and cut a seatbelt in seconds. For visibility, include bright LED road flares and a high-lumen headlamp with spare batteries. Add a sturdy ice scraper with brush, a collapsible snow shovel, and a bag of sand or kitty litter to create traction under spinning tires. A basic first aid kit, reflective vest, and bright cloth to tie to your antenna complete the visibility module. These items do not weigh much, yet together they transform a potential tragedy into a manageable wait for help. Once the initial breakdown is stabilized, follow proven strategies for the hours ahead. Stay inside your vehicle. In whiteout conditions, rescuers spot a large metal car far more easily than a person walking in light clothing. Running the engine for heat requires caution. Clear snow completely from the tailpipe first, because carbon monoxide, an odorless and colorless gas, can back up into the cabin within minutes and become the silent killer. Crack one window slightly, no more than an inch, to allow fresh oxygen in and prevent moisture buildup. Follow the one-window rule every time you idle. Run the engine for only 10 minutes each hour, using the heater on high with the fan circulating air. Conserve your phone battery by turning it off when not needed and using any available car charger. If you successfully jump-start the vehicle, drive for at least 30 minutes without shutting off the engine. The alternator needs that time to recharge the battery fully. Then head directly to a reputable auto parts store for a free battery load test. Addressing small problems early prevents larger ones later. The deepest truth emerges only after the crisis passes. The most powerful tool in any emergency kit is not the cables, the blankets, or the food. It is your own prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that plans, decides, and stays calm under pressure. Most survival outcomes are decided in the first 10 minutes of clear thinking. By investing time now to build and understand this system, you purchase something priceless. You buy time, and in the unforgiving arithmetic of survival, time is the one resource you cannot replenish. This approach does more than protect one driver. It strengthens entire communities. When you are prepared, you become a resource for others. You can share warmth, offer a safe jump start, or call for help with confidence. Families traveling together feel safer. Parents teach children these skills, passing down respect for nature's power and humanity's ingenuity. Roadside assistance networks run more smoothly when fewer panicked calls overwhelm the system. Emergency responders reach those truly in need faster. In a country where winter storms can isolate entire regions, this shared knowledge becomes a quiet act of collective care. Deeper scientific understanding reinforces every practical step. Heat moves through conduction, convection, and radiation. Your body loses the majority of warmth through radiation when the car grows cold. The mylar blanket interrupts that loss by reflecting infrared energy back. Wool's crimped fibers trap still air, the finest insulator known, while its hygroscopic nature releases small amounts of heat as it absorbs moisture. Human physiology in cold stress shows that even mild drops in core temperature impair decision-making long before shivering begins. Respiratory water loss doubles in dry subzero air because each breath pulls moisture from your lungs to humidify the incoming frigid volume. The thermic effect of food explains why protein digestion warms you from within, why fats provide dense sustained energy, and why complex carbohydrates prevent the insulin roller coaster that leaves you colder and weaker. Researchers studying cold environments have documented these processes in field tests and laboratory settings, revealing how small choices compound into survival or struggle. Engineers continue refining battery chemistry and portable power solutions so that everyday drivers gain more reliable tools. Nutrition scientists explore macronutrient ratios that optimize energy in extreme conditions, confirming the wisdom of balanced, high-quality snacks over empty calories. By embracing these principles, you step into a tradition of preparedness that honors both ancient human resilience and modern discovery. You drive not with bravado but with informed humility. You face the night not as a victim of circumstance but as someone who has chosen to meet it equipped, aware, and ready. The wind may still howl and the temperature may still plummet, yet inside your vehicle warmth, light, and hope remain under your control. In closing, a sincere note of gratitude belongs to the NASA team whose pioneering work in the 1960s created the space blanket technology that now protects countless motorists. And to the many dedicated researchers, physiologists, and safety organizations whose tireless studies on cold stress, hypothermia prevention, battery performance, and roadside safety continue to save lives every winter. Their quiet contributions enrich our understanding and empower us all to travel with greater confidence and care.